We have the minutes.
Yep.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of October 16th, 2003.
I'll second it. Are there any corrections to be made?
I haven't seen any in my reading.
Just the one on the page 6. There's a, under the public session, the third paragraph down.
Yeah.
Regarding the third session, Commissioner Babson noted it should be the second session. It turned out, when I composed the minutes, I ended up only with 2 sessions.
Okay. Ash, you have any questions? Corrections?
If you look at the end, public session, if you put something in a page, I believe that all was stuck in non-public session.
I'm sorry?
The last page,
Yeah?
or 6 of 7, we talk about these items here, but it was all done in non-public.
We have to bring the motions forward into the public session, though. You have to announce what you did.
Well, then you have to release it.
Well, most of them are being released.
Now, we had this discussion in non-public session and we sealed the minutes. So you cannot just put it here in.
Madam Chairman, could you have
Well,
Commissioner Kenney
the
speak
public
up,
session
please?
has to reflect the release of minutes in the non-public session, doesn't it?
No, you need to release everything in public.
Oh, well, we haven't been doing that.
Yeah, well, that is what
Say,
I'm
wait a minute,
telling all the time.
what's the discussion all about?
If you see page 6,
Yeah?
we talk about page 6 here. She put it in public session, but it was done in non-public.
What was done in non-public?
Here, page 6.
Well, under public session, the second paragraph? Is that the one you're
6.
talking about?
I'm talking about this here.
Minutes of the first and third sessions
Yeah, we talk all
already
about
released?
We talk all about the items in non-public, and she put it down in a public session, but it was done in non-public.
We came out, before we left, David made a motion to do it in public session.
No, we
Did we
did
not?
everything in non-public, and then we came out of non-public, we went back in a public session, and there was no further comments, nothing, and we just adjourned.
Our practice has been that we announce the votes
We do, in public
in
session.
public session.
But that was not the practice, that is, I'm telling you
No,
all
we've
the
been doing
time.
this for weeks.
We
Yes.
need,
We've
but
been
we
doing-
need to
We've
go
been
back
doing it since
in,
we
we
started.
need to go back in public session to do that.
Yeah, that's not my issue, though.
We cannot stay in non-public and talk about all these items and then seal it, and that is it. It needs to be released, or we need to talk about it in public session.
The process that we have done in the past was and then on page 6, we're in public session. Okay?
Yeah,
When
that
we
is
go into
what you
public
said.
session, we then say what happened in the non-public.
But we
that-
didn't do it in public, we did everything in non-public, and we seal those minutes.
That's correct, we did seal the non-public minutes. And down at the bottom, all it says is that they were sealed or released.
Yeah, no, that is more here, what you talk about.
Anyway,
Well, what we did in the past, everything what we release or has to be public, we did in public. All the non-public minutes, what needs to be released, we always did it in a public session.
that's what it says, right? We're in a public session,
but we were not.
I think she's saying you need to take the vote again in a public session to make it valid.
No, you need to release it in public session, but everything here is released in non-public. But what you put here in page 6, we discussed it in non-public. And we didn't release
Mr.
it,
Chairman.
so it should be non-public.
Commissioner Babson?
If Commissioner Kenney is concerned about this, I have the cheat sheets that are all filled out, and she can go in and read them in Wynette's office, and we can come back and vote on it if she'd like. I think she'll see we released them, and took the vote in non-public, and then announced what we did in
Announced it in
public
public.
session.
Right.
And I believe it's
Everything,
written on all
everything
my
is
sheets.
done, yeah, I'm telling all the time, it's not for months. We need to release stuff in a public session. And if you want to do it in non-public, when you close the session or you don't seal them, you need to come back into public session and then talk about all these items. But the way it has been done for all the months, we've not
Did
been
you
doing
see,
it.
you see this right here?
You do yeah.
We're in public session.
Actually, it should be
No.
adjourn the non-public session.
Everything was done in a non-public session and we close it and seal the minutes.
Can we move the question on the minutes?
Okay.
Mr.
And
Chairman?
if we want to do it in a public session, after we come out of non-public, we need to go back in a public session and then discuss all these items.
But that's what we did. See that motion right there?
That's wrong.
We adjourned the non-public session.
Yeah, and then it was over. And then after that, we didn't discuss anything.
I think we did.
No, we didn't.
Well, okay. All those in support of the motion
Which
to
motion?
approve October 16th
Nobody
minutes,
made any motions.
say aye.
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 I oppose.
Then the motion passes 2-1. Do you have any other minutes?
Just non-public.
Non-public, okay. Where's Jerry? Oh, it's not even 9 o'clock. Anything else you want to bring up?
Not right now.
Okay, we have a schedule of, hopefully it's on that back table for everybody, as to who's going to appear today for the budget. We'll be asking questions of those individuals that come in. And then we will go back into work session, and then ask for public input. It's going to be a long morning, but hopefully we can move it through fairly quickly. We're ahead of schedule by 20 minutes. Wynette, are you prepared for your budget? You want to jump in right now, or you want to wait?
I think I could. Actually, Kathy Gary was going to give me a copy of the figures. I don't have it. I can run down and get that.
Okay,
Do I need a copy of the figures? We're going to discuss the detail?
I think you'd have to record just the high points of
Okay.
the
All right.
budget.
I don't need the figures.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So when is the next person coming in? 9?
Well, the next person's supposed to be at 9 o'clock.
Why don't you recess then? Assume at 9. If there's nothing
It's
to
a long enough
discuss.
day as it is, and we've got Wynette here willing to go. Why don't we go with Wynette?
Yep.
Is she ready?
She said she was.
Oh, okay.
Did Kathy give you copies of my?
I've got a copy of your, we've got a copy of your budget, yeah. Did you get a copy of it? Did you get down?
We didn't get anything.
They have a blue folder downstairs for
Is
it.
it, oh, okay. Let me go grab it.
Are there any extras by chance?
Unless they're on that back table, I don't know.
No, I don't think there's any budget material in there.
Okay, 1 second then.
Why don't you have Asher ask for a couple of copies?
Ashley, you get a couple extra copies of the budget,
Okay.
please. We do have to, before I forget it, we do have to act on the Registry of Deeds purchasing that.
Yes, we do,
Equipment.
and we've got the school thing from Hales.
Yep, yep. Kathy's going to try to get a hold of the school for a conference call around 12 o'clock during our work session.
For what reason?
For Hale's location, to talk about those things that we've got to sign.
Well, she didn't understand them?
Well, we didn't.
I didn't understand them.
No, well, hopefully that conference call.
Okay, well, straighten it out.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning.
I think you need a copy of my explanations.
Thank you.
I don't know that I actually have a copy of mine.
Wynette, what does 1EE apostrophe S mean in the dental plan?
Employee, one employee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the salaries, we'll skip that for the time being. Any of the salaries in the budget, Commissioner? We'll talk about salaries later.
Okay.
And the health insurance, when it, you know, is it your case where it's going from family to two?
It will in 2014.
Yours?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. My son will have to take advantage of Affordable Care Act. Yeah.
Yes, one of the many advantages of the VA coverage is I don't have to deal with that.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'd have to buy it.
Yeah. And I don't know what his employer's doing, so.
I think a lot of people are going to be employers will just see it quite over.
Yep.
The law of unintended consequences.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Do you know why the unemployment tax jumped up?
I don't know if the increase went up from what Kathy gave us. It was just that much per year for each employee. $20 per year for each employee. No, that's just what the set price is that Kathy gave all of the departments. So.
Okay.
It's almost a 60% increase.
Does it depend on how many people join the year they make the calculation?
Yeah, it probably does. Do you want me to see if Jerry is?
What's that?
Do you want me to see if Jerry is almost ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because if he's not, then I will.
Yeah.
If when Asha comes up, I'll go.
David, these previous years, I forget, these are actual expenditures, not budget, right?
Right. The two columns on the right are the two we need to look
Right.
at.
Yep.
I think one decision that we need to make is, it was recommended by previous HR to make the assistant a salary position.
Right.
And I think Wynette's gonna ask that also.
Okay.
Okay, I have some copies here for the public. You can take one of each. These are the different departments.
Just a little note for you. There's 2 job fairs
Yeah,
going
so
on
you
today.
have to see one
One's
is the
down in
attorney,
Northern New
Registrar of
Hampshire, and the other one
Deeds,
that's up in Conway at the Granite State
administration,
College. And
ambulance,
we're going to
Okay,
different
well,
So you
I
just
got
need to
it.
take-
We have one of
Yes.
each.
corrections.
We have the different departments.
And the sheriff's department to have a table at the job fair. So I thought that was kind of good public image
Sure.
for us, so.
Okay, why don't we go ahead then with your budget? I want to talk about some, you don't have to go over everything, you need to go over what the changes are that you have made. And just in general.
Do you want me to do the salary piece too?
No.
Okay, so we'll leave the salary.
The only thing about the salary is, I'm assuming, just like Janice did before, recommend that the assistant, pure assistant, go on salary rather than hourly.
Absolutely.
Do you want to take action on that right now?
I'm sorry.
Going on what?
Debbie would go on salary rather than an hourly wage, because she's putting in a lot of extra time.
So are we paying her overtime, is that what you're saying?
And, yeah, and at the times that she was acting as, and then other times she's been incurring overtime. And because of the status of her position and the FLSA laws, she would fall under one of the exemption categories to be able to be classified as a salaried exempt status.
And she's aware of this and
Yes.
would do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that the assistant HR position become a salaried position.
And what is the salary? What's the
We
number?
don't know yet. All we're doing is voting to make it a salary
Yeah, but you
position.
need to have a number to it, and then later you just pay it out 60, 70,000. We need to know if you make
Do I
a
hear a
motion,
second
if
to
you
the
want to
motion?
have a salary position.
Do I hear a second to the motion to make the assistant HR person a salaried position? No second? Okay.
Can I tell you why I'm not seconding it?
No, you don't have
Okay.
to.
But I'd like to.
Go ahead.
I think we should discuss it as a package, salary and wages at the same time.
Okay.
I believe she should be on salary, but we should talk about it. Obviously, she's going on salary, we have to make some concessions as well as she does, so I'd like to talk about them at the same time.
Okay. Then, would you want to talk about the salaries right now? For that position?
Well, David, I guess it's public knowledge what people make, so.
Yep. Yep.
We ought to know what she's making now.
Okay, do you have those figures?
I do. She
Okay.
currently.
Let's talk about the assistant HR salary.
Okay.
The hourly wage and what would you recommend for a salaried position?
And I did have all those calculations, but I don't have them with me, but in a nutshell, basically, the HR generalist right now is at $17.49 per hour. And with, one of the things that I need to discuss with the commissioners is, last year and this year, she was acting and she did incur a lot of overtime, which we do need to discuss at a later time, compensating that. But if we were to increase her salary to $2 an hour to $19.49 per hour, to incorporate the extra hours that she would be working, that would be under that exempt salary basis. It ended up being, I believe, and I'm not 100% sure, it was somewhere close to $40,000.
40,000 for a
40,000.
salaried position.
Yeah, which when I did some calculations, or some comparisons, I should say, to some
Yeah.
of the other generalist positions, it was not the lowest range, but it was probably not even mid-range compared to some of the generalist salaries that are
Of
throughout
other
the other
counties?
counties. Yeah, it was, some of the generalist salaries were up towards $23, $24, $25 were on the high end. The low end was the $17.49.
Mhm.
So I did do some research on those and put her into a category where I thought it was fair for her as well as the county.
Mhm.
And the salary incorporating many extra hours at times.
Okay.
And
Go ahead,
what was-
Commissioner.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
Wynette, if all of these people, and all these generalists in other counties that you say you're getting your figures from are all hourly, why are we going this?
No, some of them are exempt salary also. We were just talking about the hourly rate.
In other words, they're on salary and you divide 40 hours a week into it, and that's how you get this figure? so much an hour.
Right, right. That's what
Even though
your,
they're
that's what
being
your
paid
work,
salary.
that's what your work week is based on, is the 40 hours, and you are just paid whatever it takes to get the job done, so that's how all of the pays are indicated on the other scales throughout.
Mhm.
I just want to know,
Go ahead,
what did
Commissioner.
Janice recommend?
What was that?
What did Janice recommend? I believe she did some research and.
She did, and
It was like 35?
I don't, that's what she's at now,
Okay.
currently, that's her current.
Yeah, it was, I
Yeah.
believe it was 35. She did some research and everything what you were saying on the categories
Mhm.
and she came up with some figures.
The previous HR recommended that she go on salary.
Right, and I think what and I don't have Janice's documentation here with me, but I
35,
did,
Put that on your desk.
35 something, maybe
Do what?
35,
Did I put that
36,
on your
35
desk?
it was. She did the research.
which is what the assistant's at now. So changing that and making her be exempt was with that increase.
Okay, so you're recommending a $40,000 salary,
It was 1949 was her base.
1949?
And so
It's
why
20.
did you want the employees for $2 an hour?
Because looking at the other salaries of other generalists and putting her in a range, that was more on the lower side of the range of what other generalists are making.
But I don't understand, because if Janice Sullivan already did that, how did she come up with
She
a
didn't.
different number?
But
It
you
was
know-
never approved that she was an exempt salaried person. She still remained at salary under
Mhm.
the recommendation from before. She never was changed to exempt salaried status. When someone
No.
changes to an
No,
exempt.
she never, but Janice Sullivan already did the research and she came up with the numbers.
And
But that was
mine-
Janice Sullivan's figure, now we're looking at Wynette's figure.
Yeah, but still,
No,
it's accurate.
And it wasn't far different than Janice's.
so you're
She was
recommending
doing
$19.49 an hour,
19.49.
and that's based on a salary position of 40 hours.
Correct.
Okay,
So she would be getting salary paid, but calculated on the
hourly rate.
1949 an hour.
Yes. So salaried exempt would mean she would just work however many hours it takes to get the job done. And currently, there are many hours that are needed that can't be used because of the overtime costs.
Okay.
Okay, I guess what we'll do is take that under consideration, and we'll take some action on it later.
Wynette, could you give us the actual figure before the day is out?
Yeah, the salary.
For her salary, yes.
You said you had them in your office.
Yep, I did. I
Yes,
did.
please.
Okay, moving along.
Most of the other items were basically the same. There was some of the increases were due to, the example, the unemployment tax has gone up and increased. Most of the other things remained fairly similar to last year. Fees and other services, I increased that because this year, I think the budget is already over because of some legal fees, and knowing that there's more coming for next year, I increased that line, in addition to including some recognition dollars in there for the
Mhm.
employees. Let's see, postage went up a slight bit because of the increase in postage and also some of the mandatory mailings that we've had to do this year. I think that the telephone expenses were increased, and with hopes that we're looking at decreasing for next year some of the actual telephone costs that we don't have control of the building piece of it.
Right.
Yes, there was a cell phone added into that so that I have immediate access for identifying the needs of the county at a very, very timely basis. the new equipment cost went down. And the information technology and human resources services, that has increased according to the budget, and that still has to do with Kronos and some licensing. And I actually needed to go back and review the video from April 10th where John Reed, I believe his name was, and Bob Phalangic came in and again talked about those pieces with the nursing home, the scheduler piece that is still in the original contract that does need to be paid for, and then some licensing. So you would see in the nursing home a Kronos piece which pays for the schedule along with a little portion from Sheriff's Department, hopefully, because I believe that was what was discussed. And then this is for more of the licensing. If we don't put this in here this year, the Kronos licensing and the support for this, we would lose a lot of those training dollars that they have and have extended several times. So that piece is still increased with hopes that the following year there will be very, very minimal cost to that, because we'll have plenty of the licensing that's needed. And the support has all gone to the online support, so there will no longer be any of the hand-holding support that we've had over the past years.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Wynette, do we now have Kronos working?
I would defer to Kathy Gary to see if that is actually being run with payroll. We've done several test runs, and I would defer to Kathy to see if she is running that, if she is running Kronos. But all of the timekeeping pieces, as far as the employees, as far as the managers approving time, and all of that is in place.
Under new equipment, there's no other place in your budget to put pots and maintenance. New equipment is really new equipment and not maintenance. I'm wondering if that could go into office supplies or other fees and services. Any maintenance to any of your equipment.
Yeah. I guess I could put any maintenance under office supply, or I could put it under office supplies, which maintenance could fall under that.
You know, Mr. Chairman, it becomes more and more evident every day that we should have an IT department so that we can put copiers, we can put telephones, we can put...
And one of the questions you had asked me last week was to take a look at what other counties do with their IT budget.
Yeah.
And of the responses, I got all of them. I think there was 4 or 5 responses, because I just got another one this morning, that they do have a total separate IT budget.
They have a separate IT budget,
Total.
but they also have a staff in the IT committee or department.
Yeah, they also have their own IT department, but they have their own employees.
That's what I
They have
just said.
1 or
You
2
just said
employees
that.
working for them.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. But I was talking about new equipment. And you reduced that from 700 to 500.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if a portion of that, and I'm not sure how you've configured that out regarding parts and maintenance that may come up during the year. But I guess I would take it out of the new equipment, that section, and I'd put it up into, I guess, office supplies. It's the only other area in your budget that you could put it unless we added another column.
Right. And that would zero out that line, because I really don't, anticipate any other.
You don't
need.
anticipate any other new equipment?
Just the, my multifunction machine, copier, printer, faxer,
Yeah.
that John had suggested that I put that in the budget because it's potentially in need this coming year of a new one, and he said it would be only approximately $400 or so to do that.
Well, why don't you take and put 400 in there for that
And
piece of
just-
equipment and move the 100 up underneath other fees and services for maintenance?
Okay, I think I could actually, if needed, a new, so you're saying leave that 400 and then put 100 up in that other one?
Right.
I think I could actually just decrease it to 400 and get by
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm concerned with two expenses here, Mr. Chairman.
With
Number
what?
one, I'm concerned with two expenses,
Go ahead.
not what she has here, but number one, we have a fairly substantial advertising requirement here for positions. I forget which job it was, but maybe it might even have been Wynette's, but that alone was, I think, $2,000 to advertise for the job. And I don't know whether we can reduce that expense by using other sources for advertising, or whether we should increase it. You know, the ads I sign these checks every week. It's astronomical what these papers get
Yeah.
for their advertising, and we're constantly advertising. The other question I have is legal expenses. Are we gonna make a determination somewhere along the line that how we're gonna apportion legal expenses? If we have a suit from the jail, does it go against the jail? If we have a suit for nursing home employee, does it go against the nursing home legal budget, or why
I think that's the way it's
why
set
is
up.
well, then what is human services? Just to call up and get advice, basically?
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, that's a good question. Where is
I mean, that's another one I
under
think we
legal,
ought to
other
have a-
fees and services.
We ought to come under the commissioner's budget, and we ought to have a line item for all legal expenses, so that they get charged against us, and then we break it down by department off the books if we have to.
Mhm. Okay,
So if the jail advertises for a position, it goes through HR, as I recall. Those are the two items that I would be looking at.
do you think the advertising should stay in your budget because of advertising for new positions? You handle that, right?
I do, and I think to keep control over it, I would be fine with having it stay in my budget. To be able to have a control over, number one, the positions, and as we talked, reducing turnover and trying to really manage what we are doing here.
Yeah.
Where before, when you didn't have HR several years ago, I'm not sure how it was done, but I believe that having it in mind is fine.
I wasn't suggesting we vacate it from the HR department. I was just wondering if we got enough money in it.
I know.
No, I actually reduced it, and I'm determined, I'm determined to use many other
Alternatives?
much lesser options. So many things are online now, and not to utilize the actual newspapers unless they're, more specific positions. And, I'm comfortable with it, and reducing it to that rate, to 5,000, and keeping control of
Okay,
it.
I think when we look at other budgets, we look at their advertising
Okay.
and see if we should take it out of their budget and add it to her budget.
The only thing.
Reduce other people's, because they're not advertising, right?
No, typically not. The only, this very recent, right now, I asked the jail I asked Superintendent Johnson to incorporate the last ad for the assistant superintendent, if he had enough in his budget, because mine was over for this year,
Yeah.
but I don't anticipate a lot of those needs for next year.
Do you have any idea what other departments, why they would have an advertising budget, other than positions?
I don't know.
Okay,
Well, I could see maybe the nursing home when advertising an activity in
event?
the nursing home, yeah. But wouldn't that come under the
That would come under recreation.
Recreation department?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the advertising budgets, items in all the other budgets and see what we can do in putting it all into one so we can have maybe better control over it. You got anything else you want to add to your budget or talk about your budget?
No, being my first budget process here, it was pretty seamless with the help of Kathy Gary, and I didn't see a lot of things that weren't identified.
If I have done my math correctly, it's a 38% increase in your budget.
Right, which the legal fees and services were a big portion of that, a very large portion of it.
Well, the IT is.
And the IT, which
up
is the.
4,000 right there.
Yep, the IT, the Kronos, which is one of the agreements, the contracts that was signed.
Okay.
I guess I missed the explanation. Why is IT up $4,000? We have a commitment with Mr. Rich, we know what that is. Does Kronos get piled onto your?
Some of the licensing and the some of the accruals licenses, they do, yeah.
Now,
And-
when you get the licenses, don't they come up under the line item with the license fee, dues, licenses, and subscriptions?
No, those are under.
We're not duplicating them there.
No, those are totally under IT because they have to do with the Kronos and the timekeeping pieces. And with the accruals, with the licenses for next year, as I said, that we have to buy them in bulk of 50, and when we buy them, we have enough now to squeak through until next year, and with staff. And I think at the April meeting, they talked about when someone does leave, we are able to, but a lot of this has to do with the upcoming scheduler piece,
Yeah.
having those licenses too. So I very much so foresee that this is other than the contractual scheduler piece, 16,500 from the nursing home and some from the sheriff's department, I foresee that should significantly decrease in next year's budget, significantly.
Okay, you mentioned dues, licenses, and subscriptions. As of September, you've spent $365, and you got $600. You gonna spend all that?
I have two more, two more certification subscriptions that for SHRM that are up, due
Okay.
by January 1, so they have to be paid before that.
Okay.
Another question?
Go ahead.
Wynette, under salaries, have you added in the new request for Debbie? Or is it
That's
the
it.
old one without the $2 increase?
No, my request for her going to the exempt
is in
status
that.
is in that,
Okay.
and including my agreement
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
far as after my
Yeah.
probation, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions of HR?
Yes, I have a question about legal. I see there a lot of bills are coming in from Closson, from Bailey. Are there any other resources where we can call and ask legal questions?
Well, we got Primex.
Yeah, we first start with Primex because they are our insurer, and then when Primex suggests that we call other attorneys, or for example, Liz Bailey is the one that does, and when the right to know policy, she reviews that, just to make sure that it is all legal and in compliance. Those we do send to her. Yeah.
Can you call LGC for information?
Not at this time, and I actually put a phone call into Judy Silva, and I asked her if we were able to, the county, and that's kind of they're working out through those issues right now, but with hopes that they are going to approve counties being a part of NHMA, and I actually am waiting for a call back from Judy that if we paid dues to that we would be able to call for some legal advice from them.
Assistance,
yeah.
Yes.
That brings up a very good question. What kind of legal help do we get from the Association of Counties? I'm still waiting for an answer for 3 weeks ago,
For
Yeah.
legal question.
the New Hampshire Association of County?
Yep,
To
Betsy Miller.
Betsy?
Do we get legal help from them?
And I'm not that familiar, but as far as I know, we don't get legal
No.
help from them.
No,
If not, why not?
it's just something that they don't do. Not responsible for legal.
The association hasn't budgeted for
No.
legal consultations at all?
No.
Okay,
Is that something you think they should?
yes.
Okay.
We should be able to call up and get some legal advice somewhere. We're not exactly paying candy bar money to be in the organization.
I've been
Okay.
calling the local government center 2011, 2012, so I hope it's getting through this time.
Yeah, and because of their legal issues with the splits, NHMA now, which is who we would call NHMA, is working on getting an answer for this.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any further questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Go back to Jerry.
Thank you for these neat folders, Wynette. They're just fine.
Recycle and reuse.
Okay, Jerry?
Dave, can I have
Yep.
just a second to find out which one on the station building? Okay, here we go.
They should be right in order.
Yep. All right.
Okay, go ahead, Jerry.
Salary, social security, medical, retired, workers' comp, that's all plugged in, looking right down at contracted fees and services.
Yeah.
And
Contracted, can you briefly tell us about the contracted services?
it's anything from sprinkler system, inspection, my phone, my paging,
Is the elevator fee underneath that?
elevator, yeah. The Halon system, in the vault and down in the Registry of Deeds, they do that twice a year.
Yeah,
And I can have them print you out a detail downstairs and leave it on your desk or something
Yeah.
like that, and you can get a better look at
Okay.
everything, because there's a ton of stuff on here.
okay. All right.
I think
Takes
we're
us
right
to-
on schedule
to
there.
maintenance.
Maintenance
supplies.
supplies. I was out for a while, as you know, and somewhere along the line, we weren't charged for some things, and we're trying to get this straightened out. That's why these numbers are screwy, when I noticed that it's way down from what it should be. So we're working with Norman next door to see what is going on with that. Because when I wasn't here,
Excuse me, Jerry, which line item are you on?
we're on the maintenance supplies.
Maintenance supplies?
What number? Oh, yeah, okay, I got it.
Okay.
What he's talking about is, so far, he only spent $338.
Yeah, that's just not right, so. So I'm gonna look into that, we'll have to get back on that. We might be able to reduce that a little. So, because I've found cheaper products going through the nursing home and everything else, so
Yeah.
it's been working out well.
Yep. Go ahead.
As I sign the checks for your department, I know I've signed them for far more than $338.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's some stuff, I don't know if it hasn't been posted, I don't know, I really don't know, so we're gonna have to look into that. I had talked to Kathy about that Armstrong yesterday, and she said she was gonna, well, the day before, and she said she's gonna look into it. We'll get it squared away. We'll get an exact figure on that.
Well, what do you think has happened, Jerry?
I don't know, I was out for,
Charged to some other department?
I was out for 3 months, I don't know what happened over at the nursing home, because they send over everything I order from. They send over what I order and how much it costs, and we get billed for it. I don't know.
So they order, comes there, you pick it up.
Pick it up,
And
and
we,
they,
and we also have a new purchasing person.
Yes.
With the
That's
nursing-
Nora.
yes, and she's gonna be,
Yeah,
they're working with her. We'll get it all straightened out.
okay.
So, leave that, all right, meals, that's, I don't do that. Electrical expenses, as you know, electric's way down. There's supposed to be an increase for the delivery charge next year. The Constellation, it's supposed to be, it looks like it's a 2-cent increase. I went back a year from approximately from 11.1 to 11.1 of last year to 10.1 of this one, and got a actual reading by usage kilowatts, so it's 2 cents per kilowatt they're increasing for a delivery charge, and that comes to over $6,000, and that's probably not a real, it's accurate, but not right precise,
Yeah,
okay? So
that's the increase.
increase just for the delivery. PSNH, I don't know, they haven't said anything about any increases, so who knows what's gonna happen down the road. But we
Jerry, it
still,
looks like you're gonna spend $32,000
and
this
then
year.
another 6 on top of that.
So that's 30,
It's almost 40, right?
but yeah, you're asking for 50,
Yeah,
why?
I'd rather go over, I'd rather stay under than go over. And you just can't, fuel prices are, come on, you get this, look at it, just think about it. And, you know, if you guys wanna cut that back, that's fine, but I don't feel safe, comfortable doing it, so.
Well, we've seen an increase in fuel. I assume that you come off of the mother tank, or you got the other small one out here.
Yeah.
We've only seen an increase of 10 cents a gallon on that over the year.
Yep, and I have it
Well,
right
that's
here.
not gonna that's not gonna
No.
eat into your budget an awful lot.
No, propane's way down. As far as I'm concerned, those are unbelievable prices we got this year.
Right.
We topped 130 a gallon on one payment, one delivery. Everything else was in the 120s. I want you to think, 2 years ago, we were paying $1 more a gallon.
Right.
You never know.
We've paid a low of $1.19 a gallon this year to a high of $1.29.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, the price, and it's been real steady all year so far.
So in the fuel, you've decreased the budget.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But you could, that's another thing, you can't predict the future, you don't know what's gonna happen. Anything could happen in the world, and something could increase that
Yeah.
number. Like, there's another one, I'd rather go under than go over, so you guys can discuss that amongst yourself.
So you're suggesting we watch the world news every night?
Absolutely.
See what's happening. to the
Absolutely,
cost of fuel.
absolutely.
Okay.
I do,
Okay, so you're down $2,000 there.
yeah.
Generator expense?
I don't believe the preventive maintenance been posted on that yet, but we've been running it at 1,000 every year, and it fluctuates. A couple of years ago, we spent almost 8. Last year, we only spent for the actual PM. So it's we haven't had any problems with it this year, but
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Jerry, you're concerned about the cost of fuel, but yet, on one hand, you want to make sure it's 50,000 for whatever may happen, and the next line, you reduce it by $2,000 for the year. Why?
why?
The electricity, you don't know, that's
Because-
driven by the cost of fuel.
Because the electrical bill is gonna be higher than the fuel bill is gonna be this year, that's why. So I didn't change the electrical bill. The fuel bill is a lot lower than compared to last year. And the electrical bill was pretty much the same. Maybe a little bit lower. And then we're gonna get an increase of $6,000 on top of that,
Okay.
Okay.
so.
You got any questions on generator expense?
Yeah, have you talked to
Will?
Will or Bob about combining your contract for the generators? We just paid an ungodly amount of money just for regular service and a couple of valve covers for over.
Yes, I
years.
know, sure.
Have
They've
you-
never approached me on it. and Wells
Have
is
you
the one-
approached them?
No, I haven't.
Are you shy?
No. It's just never been brought up.
Let's get on it.
It's never been brought up.
Well, would you do that, see what we can do, see if we can combine it?
Yeah,
And make get 3 of them?
yeah,
Yours a Caterpillar?
yes.
Well, we should be doing that.
Okay. Okay.
Equipment repairs, what do we got there, Dave?
Well, Carry Grounds, we're looking at the possibility of value of service with the phone.
Mhm.
And we're looking at Grafton County because Commissioner Babson has talked with the people over there, and they don't have in everybody's budget items like care grounds. That could be put into the farm budget as a value of service, meaning that they would get credit for it, but there wouldn't be any of that money in everybody's budget. So theoretically, we could reduce the appropriations for each of the departments if we went that way.
Mhm.
We'd have to get the delegation's approval to do that, because it needs to show up somewhere. It doesn't show up as revenue because we're not increasing the taxes for that particular line item.
Mhm.
So that could change everybody's budget, but we
Yes,
haven't
that's been,
decided on
that
it
was
yet.
brought to my attention before. I spoke with Phil about that, so I don't have a problem with that. That'd be
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Okay,
But as of right now, the way it says, that's something else, we had a mild winter last year, this
Yep.
year, so they're predicting a cold, snowy winter, but, who knows, right? But, yep, better safe than sorry there too.
yep, go ahead.
I probably should know the answer to this, but I don't. Is the amount of snow removal apportioned and lawn mowing apportioned to each of the three departments here, or do you get,
I get
you
it
get
all.
stuck
You
with
get
it?
it.
I get the whole, the building takes care of it.
It's administration building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, maintenance and building repairs.
Okay, that's just,
Any
Basic.
items that's coming up?
no, this is the, yeah, well, that's, for anything that needs to be done in the building, say, painting, if a pipe breaks, needs to be replaced. I got a couple sections of pipe I'm gonna need replacing, next year. It's got some leaks. It's all minor, but it's gonna need to be done, so,
Is that for water or for heating?
heating, just for
Heating?
water, yes. So, it's just basic maintenance and building repairs. It is what it is. That's exactly what it is. Window breaks, you know what I mean? We usually run pretty close to that as you go. I go back, last year we spent 3, the year before we spent a little more than 3.
Yep,
I figure 4 is a good, safe number.
okay. Next item would be equipment
Yeah,
repairs.
that's a huge increase, and I gave you a proposal for Strojans. We've been dealing with Strojans, we can get more, but this was just to get a number off the top.
And it's for
That's
what?
for the compressor on the 3-ton rooftop, blew out about a month and a half ago. We have 4, it has 4 compressors, 1, 2, 3, 4, and as demand increases, it uses 1 compressor, then
Yep.
2, 3. Well, the
Yeah.
second one blew out. And
So you're bypassing, so now you're
it's
working on
going,
3.
it goes from 1 to 3, and it's not efficient to cool the building.
Mhm.
So it needs to be replaced. The unit will run without it, but you're just putting more tax in.
And the replacement cost estimated at 7,000?
Yep, $7,342. So, things are big, heavy. It's a compressor, they're gonna need to rent a crane and
You
everything.
have a crane to get it up
Yeah.
there?
Take the old one down, new one up, so.
So, I see this, for $7,000. Are you going to look for other proposals?
Yeah, we
This
can,
will
but
go
I don't,
out to bid
I
then?
will, yes. This is just a number I got from Bob, but I think he sent it to me a couple days ago, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I know, we can look at Train and other places, but I believe it's probably gonna
We
be
need to
the
get
same
3
couple.
bids, and
It's over.
we have the option of, if it's unanimous, to take any of the bids, or otherwise we take the low bid.
Yeah, but that's why it's there and it needs to be replaced, so.
Okay. So that's the major increase there?
Yes. Yep.
Any idea how old that is?
It was installed in 2006, 7
Really?
years, yeah. Yeah, I was sort of surprised, but it is what it is, so. They don't make them like they used to, I guess.
Is that true for all 4 of them?
What's that?
They were installed at one time?
That 4 compressors are part of the rooftop.
Yep,
The rooftop was installed, the 4 compressors are in it, all installed at
Okay.
the same time. so,
okay.
yeah. And they have been breaking down. We're gonna be replacing the motor in the small rooftop, probably within the next couple of weeks, because the bearing went on. It's still running, but you can go down to the business office, you can hear it.
Yeah.
That's the way, and I've been I let it go a long time. Now we're getting towards the end of the year, and I realize I can afford to do it, so I'm going to. Otherwise.
Do you have in this year's budget?
I have enough, yes.
Okay.
It's all good, yeah.
Okay,
But that gives you an idea of what possible things could happen, you know, so.
Yep. yep. Okay, maintenance labor,
Yeah, that hasn't been touched yet, but it should be, because when I was out, Bob sent a couple guys over, and that's what that's for. That covers the labor from other departments or buildings that
Yep.
come in to cover for me, so.
okay.
Maybe this is something we should look at, Dave.
What's that?
If these two guys can work for that price and we're paying Jerry that price, maybe we ought to bring them over. Why is it so little, Jerry?
Because
Is it
I've
just-
never
is it-
really been out before, that's why. So I've never
Well,
really had,
but
I've never used it.
why in the accounting process are we changing pockets for only $500? They were here quite a bit of time.
I know, I wasn't planning on being out like that. Initially, I was only supposed to be out 6, 7 weeks, but they wouldn't let me come back on light duty.
Well, I understand that, I'm not worried about that.
Mhm.
My question is, why when we're exchanging funds here, and these gentlemen were here quite a bit, did they make it, or did you make it the $500 so little
I made it last year, that's what I budgeted for.
for outside?
No, that's
Not
just for the.
knowing, not knowing,
No.
Knowing you were gonna be out, but
did you know
I'm
you
lost here.
didn't know
No, I didn't know I
you
was
were
gonna be out, no, of course not.
No.
That's
Well,
because
then,
Bob didn't build billing us.
well, I guess that's
Bob
my
would be
basic
nice.
question. Why so little?
Be nice.
Okay. Nothing like accurate billing.
All right, water usage.
That's right on track.
Two things. Are you reading the meter for the gas and the water?
I do not know, the guys do the water, and they come back with the bill. I don't know anything about the water. And we were, up until when I went out, and I haven't this past month, so we were though. And I was
Okay.
giving the readings to Kathy Armstrong,
Yep,
so.
yep.
I was out for 3 months, so,
So we have a gas meter, right?
yes,
And nobody's reading that?
not the last 3 months, 4 months, no, but we were.
Okay. What do you got in for new equipment?
I got a vacuum cleaner. The vacuum I got is on its way out. The amount of sand that's tracked in the building every winter, which you guys just see it when you come in. I did a number on that vacuum. The vacuum's like, it's 6 years old, so. it's
6 years old?
It's seen its day. And I've had it apart several times, and I just can't get it to pick up the sand anymore. It just won't do it. It's okay in the summer when the dirt's light, but in the wintertime with the sand and the dry, ice melt and stuff, it's impossible. So I need an upgrade, a new.
So you're looking at $370?
Mhm. And that's a good price for a commercial vac.
Okay. Okay, anybody got any questions regarding his budget?
Yeah.
Administration, go ahead.
Do you have any computer, Jerry, that you use?
Yes.
You do.
Mhm.
And that's all?
Mhm.
And what's the computer used for?
Building controls, need for ordering.
Heat and cooling?
Heating, cooling, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You got another question?
No.
You got any questions on his budget?
Not at this time.
All right, when you get those other figures straightened out as to what was spent while you were out,
Yep.
let us know what they are.
Okay, and I'll work on some more estimates on the compressor.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, Howie?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Have just a couple things for you. The
Morning,
first,
Becky.
Good morning.
Now, first, and I think most important part is to thank you for your support last week for, Zenya Hernandez and the accommodation you made relative to the policy to support that. That's been appreciated throughout. Also have a.
How is that being handled? I'm reading in the paper that any fundraising is being sent to the nursing home, is that correct?
Not all. There are independent
There's
groups
some
that are
stuff.
saving money, collecting money, and certainly we are, but we don't pretend or want to be the central repository. I know there are online accounts. We've worked together there was one online group, a running club up north, who didn't want to impose themselves by making the presentation to Zenya themselves, and they brought the money down here for us to present. But we do know that there are a number of other groups that are raising money separately.
Yes, yeah, I do.
Do have a report for you here. It's a report that I gave to the Mountain View Family Council. That's more just kind of a monthly summary. There's nothing in there by way of action that's needed. In fact, the only action that we come before you for today is just for a decision on the exactly the protocol for how we want to make the previously approved LNA back pay adjustment. And to that end, Becky's got a couple of options for you that I'll defer to her on.
This is all due to the subcommittee, right? The subcommittee pretty much handled the bottom line for any increases for the LNAs?
They reduced it. We went in, they approved half of what was requested.
Okay.
Half of what you had approved, which was the same as what we requested, they reduced that by half, and so Becky's since gone back and reconfigured it.
And they reduced that because they wanted part-time people rather than full-time people?
No, they just felt that was a budgetary issue, and they reduced it by half, I believe.
Okay, go ahead.
So what I've done is, like we did the presentation before, I've split people up based on their rate of pays. And the question is, do we want to do January or April? That was brought to me.
They're union?
All the LNAs are union, so
That's
that's why
April.
it was April. So what we managed to do is, my top tier that was $1.40 below, because I did a tier function, it's not a straight across the board, everybody gets the same amount. The top tier would get a 75% increase, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly 17 employees, would be brought up to $11.15, which is still 35 cents below the lowest amount paid in any other county. $11.15.
And it's still below other counties?
The lowest.
Right, the lowest
It's
of
the
other
lowest?
counties. We were working off $11.40 as the lowest amount paid to LNAs in other counties in 2011. My understanding is 2012 is not available, so that would bring them up to $11.15,
Okay.
which is still 35 cents less than any other county pays their new employees.
I think we have now 100% buyback from vacation, or is it sick of leave? Does the other counties also have that they can have the 100% buyback?
I don't know about that. I was just working off
Oh,
wage
okay.
scales, sorry.
That's a union.
So we will work with the April number, and that will roughly be just around the 30,000 they approved for me, if we do actual hours worked from
So
April
you get
forward.
17 that are going to get 11.15. What about the rest?
Well, no, I don't have 17 that are getting 11.15. My wages run as where they were at. I took the lowest group. The newest employees started out at $10 an hour with the union raise, got $10.40. With us, it'll bump the starting LNA that's been there
Yeah,
up to $11.15.
okay.
The wages run, in the first group, they ran from $10.40 to $11.64. Out of those 17 people, that was the breakout. The second group ran,
Excuse me, Beck, 10:40 to
I
what?
have it if you want the
No,
breakout.
just quick,
Yeah,
10:40
yeah,
to what?
yeah, I do.
It ran from 10.40 to 11.66.
Okay,
The second group, the lowest amount was $12 and runs to
1451 is a high. And in that group, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17.
And what was in the first group?
17,
17 also?
yes.
Okay.
The third group runs from 1483, with the highest being 1729, and there's 11 in that group. And the last group would get a 25-cent increase, and they ran from $17 to $18. Now that group, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 6 in that group,
Yeah.
with the earliest employee being hired in 1971, and the latest employee hired in that group was 1992. So those are the people that have big longevity that started probably like I did back in the early 70s at $3 an hour.
Yeah.
So we gave something to all the LNAs. It's split between a 75, a 40, a 30, and a 25, based on their previous existing pay.
Tell me that again, 70?
75 for the first group.
Yeah.
40 for the second group.
Okay, and 30?
30 for the third group, and 25
25
for the last 6 that have the greatest longevity. And we would retroactive that back to April 1st.
Yep. Okay.
So if you approve that.
And
I'll
so
put
that
it-
adds up to the 30,000 that they
Mhm.
approved?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, roughly, I was working off half of what I asked for, which came out to $30,993.27. So I got it as close as I could.
Yeah, okay.
With your approval of that, then we can then take it to the union for their ratification.
Mhm.
And then it can be implemented as soon as possible.
Yeah. You have a question? No? You have a question?
No.
And I will, on the ratification, we will break it apart just this way, that says this group is a one-time increase of 75, this group is a
Yeah.
one-time increase of.
Have you talked to them at all about this?
Oh, yeah, they've been in and on board on this since I started before
So
we
you don't think there's gonna
presented.
be any question for them
No.
ratifying it?
No,
I mean, they would, I think, automatically approve increases, but it's the percentages or the
No.
figures from the low to the high that they would be concerned about.
actually, before I started actually getting it ready for preparation, I had talked to them and said, it can't be really across the board because our people are low. My people that have longevity are toward the higher end
Right.
of what's being paid in the county, so it wouldn't be fair to give them the same. So they knew I was breaking it apart this way.
Okay.
I will double check with them this afternoon. I don't foresee any issues.
Okay.
Because everybody's getting something. If I had only raised those that were well below and not touched everybody,
Yeah.
but at least this way, everybody's
Everybody
getting
gets
a
it.
fairly decent raise.
Okay.
For a one, and it is only a one-time increase to get them back up to where other
Yep.
counties are paying.
Yep. Do I hear a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve the suggested pay increases for LNAs.
Do I hear a second?
Yep, second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and it's unanimous, so
Thank you.
check with Kathy Gary and make sure that gets out as soon as you get notification of ratification. Okay, good, thank
We're hoping
you.
by the next paycheck.
What's that?
We're hoping by the next paycheck.
I hope so too.
It's been a long
Okay.
time coming, and I apologize for that, but it's there.
Okay,
Okay, thank you. That's actually all we have for you, unless you have questions for us, or for me.
I understand that we have an awful lot of Christmas decorations for the nursing home that's in storage, and it takes up a lot of room. Is there any possibility of going through and weeding out some of the Christmas decorations that are no longer used or in bad shape?
Well, we should, because, based on last Christmas, there weren't an awful lot of decorations that were out. So,
Check with Bob. I talked with him on a Monday afternoon, and there's a room over the old nursing home that's just full of Christmas decoration.
No, I think
Only.
this is the perfect time to make donations to church rummage sales. Well, we have the experience now, so we know what we used last year, we know what we're not gonna use. There's no sense storing what we're not gonna use.
You're not suggesting we cancel Christmas?
No, I'm not suggesting that at all.
I do, in terms of good news that's actually in that report, can confirm with you that we have received confirmation from the Ossipee Community Fund of receiving, I think it's $3,500 in a donation that they're gonna be making to purchase a golf cart. And interestingly, Home Depot has also confirmed with me on Sunday that we're gonna be getting about an equal amount, about $3,400 for the pavers around the flagpole.
Oh, okay.
The Friends of Mountain View have agreed to pay for, we're gonna be adding a light to the flagpole anyways, and that'll be
Mhm.
coming soon. But the Friends agreed to pay for a transformer, which is surprisingly expensive, but it'll bring power to the center island that'll allow us to do holiday decorations, perhaps a tree, something that'll provide some, some measure of holiday light, Christmas cheer as people
Yeah.
approach, which will be nice.
I still would hope that any of the benches not be placed in that circle, that they be placed around the sidewalks or other places other than down in a lower area that I don't think.
I think you're gonna have your wish, because the Home Depot proposal in their last iteration doesn't have any benches at all.
Oh, okay.
And where we've talked about needing benches is actually going down the walkway.
Okay.
Which is-
There and even on the other side of the building. What's on the other side of the building?
We
South
do-
side?
We do have some out back and on the sides, and because I don't believe we can have too many benches, because it
Right.
encourages people to walk.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll have a plan afoot. Creating an opportunity for memorial benches is a wonderful way sometimes for families even to remember
Yep.
their loved one. So I want to get a typical bench that we
Yeah.
could use as an example for that, so that if families wanted to give thanks or appreciation for their care or ask for money to be donated in lieu of flowers, that we'd be able to create a series of memorial benches like that.
Okay. You weren't here Monday when the delegation met. Basically, the delegation voted to tear down 2 of the wings. And to use the $1 million that we got left over from the new building to put a new roof on the core section. That said, I know you had requested some lifts
Correct.
to come out of that money. We got to double check to see if there's enough money to do what we were supposed to, or what they said to do on Monday, like a new roof. They're going to tear down the two wings. That's going to cost us some money. What we don't have the figure exactly for is boarding up where we take down the 2 wings, to board that up, or to brick it up. So I guess your lifts are on hold right now, until we see what's left in that budget.
Well, of course, what can happen is that on commissioner recommendation for the next time the delegation meets,
Yep.
for a dispersal from that residual fund. Because I think we're talking, my recollection is we're talking about $20,000, so we're, in relative terms, a modest amount compared to the amount they have left.
Yeah.
So,
Well, my thinking is, and don't quote me on this, but I think there's $1 million that's going to go towards the roof. I think that was the estimate, but.
Yeah, million or $1,000,000, something like that.
it's a
Yeah.
lot of roof.
It's a lot of roof, but seems like I remember $75,000 to tear down the wings.
100,
100?
yep.
Okay, and then we got to board it up, so there's not that much money left in that account. So-
Well, I guess I take the old school approach that we, no worse off for asking and being told no than
True.
not asking at all.
But that said, you ought to put that in your budget for next year, those lifts.
just to be sure.
Okay.
Well taken, so that we have a contingency plan, because we do need them, so that's one way or the other.
Yep, yep. Okay,
Questions, Mr. Chairman?
go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Two questions, Howard. And I don't know whether this is up to us or up to you or up to the Friends of Mountain View community, but the high school, we all got an email from Wendy Scribner, as you two know, asking for support for the high school for fuel that they've expended coming back and forth to work on the trail.
Right.
And for their chainsaws. I don't know who or how, or, well, how's that taken care of here? I certainly
Right
think
now
they
that-
deserve it, but I don't know where we go.
That money, it was turned into the nursing home from Friends of Mountain View, correct?
Now, my understanding is that Friends of Mountain View contributed $2,000 to the trail fund.
Yeah.
What's unclear to me, and that also Primex contributed.
Another 2,000.
Another 2,000.
Yep.
So somewhere that I believed was under the control of the commissioners, there's $4,000 in trail improvement funds.
Okay,
And I don't believe it's on the nursing home side, I believe it's on the.
It's on our side.
Your side, so that would be a logical, I think that's a modest expense for the great work they've done.
yeah,
But it would seem that the money is there and available for it.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
perhaps we should ask the chairman of the Walking Path Committee.
I'm sure Melissa has the money right with her.
Melissa, where's the
That's what I
money?
thought. That's what I thought.
There's going to be, the date hasn't been set yet, but there's going to be a meeting to pull everybody together that's still interested in working on the trail and to kind of get a status update. Wendy Scribner's organizing the meeting time that works well for everyone.
Mhm.
It's either going to be on November 1st or November 14 or 15. So we're still just trying to pin down a time, so.
Melissa, while you were out of the room, I mentioned that the three of us had received an email from Wendy Scribner asking that the high school be reimbursed for the gas, fuel money that they spent to bring the kids over here, and
Right.
I was wondering where the money came from. Howie said he felt that the Primex and somebody else had given some money and it was under our control, so I guess we can vote on it.
So Primex had given the money directly to the commissioners, correct? And the Friends of Mountain View had
It
also
went
given
through
money?
HR, but yes, we have it, the Primex money.
And you also have money from Friends, or was that rescinded?
There was a contribution from the Friends of Mountain View. I'm not sure what the figure was, whether it was 2,000 or 3,000.
They mentioned 2,000.
2,000. And so we have $4,000 to put towards that trail. I'm in agreement to giving those high school students mileage and gas for their equipment or whatever is necessary. And I think it's very inexpensive, maybe $300 or
I
something
don't
like
think it
that.
was that high, I think it was between $200 and $300.
$200 and $300, so,
Right, because the departments, when they take field trips from the school, if they're not compensated, they have to pay for those transportation costs to the transportation department over there. And if we don't give it to them, they have to take it out of their own budgets. Like-
you're talking about the school?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, the VOC will have to pay transportation, and why should they have to pay to
Right.
volunteer here?
Right.
So I would agree with that. I
Yeah.
just- But any comment beyond that, I still need to be brought up to speed on what's happened so far, and
Okay.
we'll wait for the meeting with Wendy.
I do know the Friends, at the time when they thought nothing was going to be done on the trail, had considered, or maybe they've already made a request for the return of their money, so that was.
We haven't got that request yet.
Okay, so you know but now it also looks as though action's being taken on the trail, so that might be the basis of reconsideration of the request that hasn't been made yet.
Yeah. I think one of the goals of that committee is to come up with the purpose of that trail, define it. I was asked by Representative Chandler what the use of that trail was going to be. And so I think we need to come up with, he was thinking, I said, employees and residents and so forth. And I think his question was, are we going to have employees out there on our wages, or is this going to be off time and so forth, as well as the general public. So I think if we had a, I don't know what you call it, mission statement or whatever for the use of that trail, purpose of the trail, I think it'd be good to have.
We'll take that into consideration, also recognizing the benefit of having healthy employees.
It's a wellness trail, and
I'm
that's
sure
why,
there's a balance there.
that's why Primex gave us that $2,000.
Right.
Yep,
Was to promote employee wellness, right?
yep,
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
Last question.
Go ahead.
How, you know, did they get the seals for the stink pots, the backyard?
I talked to Wayne, he had them, I think they were waiting to have it pumped out, which was really about 3 weeks ago. So they wanted to get one last pump out before they did it. So I know he had the seals, I can't tell you if they've been installed or not.
You know, should tell you that.
What's that? No, I guess I haven't been out back, or I've been upwind.
Okay.
But I will.
Is it the case that if they put the seals in and then they pump it out, it breaks the seal and it's not usable again?
Well, if the guy pulling the lid is careful, they should last a number of times.
Okay.
But if the guy isn't, or if it's very hot and it adheres, you can hurt the seal. Actually, I would assume, and Wayne could speak to it more accurately. I think we have less trouble in the cold than we would in the heat with the kind of seals, the foam seals that I've seen. But they thought it'd be easier to wait until after the next pump out.
Well, the smell is a smell. I guess as soon as we can get it pumped out, the better.
Yeah, it's been pumped out, but I'll check to see if Wayne got in there with the seals.
Okay. Any other questions regarding nursing home? Okay, thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, Ann?
I'll get out of your way.
Yes, easily. Good morning.
Good morning, Ann.
These are once I give you my brief and my budget.
Okay.
Mr. Babson, there you go. And one for you.
I know.
Delegation said approve, if we approved it, we're gonna do that today.
I was going to ask
Of
if
her-
we could
of-
do that before we
yes,
started the
yes.
budget.
Yes. Have you had a chance to look at the proposal that she had?
Look at it, nothing?
Right.
Same
Yes, no, it's the exact same thing.
Is it in your package at all? In this package?
No, because I gave
You
you one
got
the
it?
other day, but I got a
You got another
spare.
copy?
I have it. I'm sorry. Sorry, David. Yeah. Then I'm down to my copy. I gave you one too. Yes, I have. Thank you.
Okay, so you're asking for
What happened was I knew I was.
$3,276.43?
No, I'm asking for $2,557.44
Okay,
out of the surcharge
yep.
account, which is not raised by
So
taxation.
it's no increases in taxes?
It's
and
no increase to anything. It would have come up in the 2014 budget, I had proposed it last year, put it on my agenda for last year that we would need another one. So when I started looking for prices for the 2014 budget, and I got that significant amount of difference between the two companies the only two companies we found that had them, I called and asked if that price would continue into 2014, and they said they had no idea.
Yeah.
It was a 2013, so it was, if it was going under the equipment budget anyway, there's no harm in getting it early. I cannot spend from that without your approval and the delegation, so.
I would make a motion that we purchase the filing cabinet from draftingseals.com for $2,557.44.
That's correct.
And that it come out of the surcharge amount of the Registry of Deeds.
That's account 4120.97, if it matters.
Do I hear a second?
I'll approve it for discussion purposes.
You second it, okay? You want to discuss it?
Discuss it, yes.
Go ahead.
And why do you say there's only two places that sell or make
Well,
file cabinet?
we went out and tried to find it, and these are the only two people that gave me bids, so.
Why does it have to be specifically this cabinet?
Because we have 3 others just like it. They hold Mylar plans. We haven't had to buy one since, oh dear. They last us about 3 to 4 years, depending on how much volume of plans come in. Instead of doing them in books, which were cumbersome, and you've seen how big and heavy those are, these are in Mylar cabinets. They get scanned into our system, so anybody who wants to can see them on the computers. But if they need to see it for real in the big form, then we unlock the cabinet and remove just that one from them for them to look at. It's those are there for life, so.
Well, when you said last, you didn't mean us to interpret that as they break down at the end of 3 years. You have full.
No.
Oh, no. The last
They're
time
full
we
at 3
purchased
years.
one of them. Oh, no, these never go. These are beautiful, yeah.
There's not a standard size throughout the industry that.
Well, the company that we used that we bought it from before was Safeco, the one who's got the higher bid. This other company has the Safeco, it's the same machine, and it's $700 and something less, so I'm a really cheap date. I will fight for the lowest price on everything, so.
Could it be a situation where Safeco is the manufacturer and they're just protecting their distributors?
Well, if you look at their thing here, it is the same product, and that's their sale price is $3,276.43, and the other one is the exact same thing, and it's $718.99 cheaper. Whether it comes out of it this year or next year, it's going to come out of the 97 budget. This way, I have a chance of saving money
Yeah.
on it. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, my point was if the $3,000 one, Safeco, is the manufacturer, they are more than likely protecting their distributors, and so they're giving you the retail price where the distributor may be giving you a discounted price.
We asked for government
So why don't we
pricing.
see if we can find a couple of more
The manufacturers should be the
distributors
cheapest
and
place
see
to get it
if
from.
they'll give us, if their price is the same. If Safeco is the manufacturer.
I'm
Any idea what you paid for the one you purchased before?
When I purchased it 4 years ago, it was right around the price we were going to be getting now. Wait a minute, I have it here somewhere. I can't believe we're doing this. My invoice for when we got it was 2009, and it was from Nationwide Drafting and Office Supply, which we also asked them, they didn't respond, and it was at $2,269. So
What is the distributor price then? 2,000, what's it?
we're talking a difference of
2,500.
under $300 from what I paid in 2009, the increase of under $300 for now. Given the cost of everything else that's gone up, even if I just compared Hannaford's prices and what the kind of jumps they've had, this is when I saw that price, I was just amazed that we could get it at that price.
We ready for a vote? Any further discussion on the motion? All those in
And
support?
what is the motion? Could you read it, please?
The motion is to purchase the plan filing cabinet from Drafting Steels for $2,557.44. Money to come out of the surcharge account of the Registry of Deeds.
Question.
Go ahead.
Forgot what I was gonna ask. It was about the companies. How many people did you go out to bid for?
Doesn't have to go out for bid.
Well, I mean, go out for
A quote?
quote.
We put in the kind of, what we were looking for, and these were the ones we got responses from. We also had contacted the company we bought from originally, and they're.
So you went out for 3 and two responded.
That's right.
Okay.
Frankly, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to see more of an attempt made to get the same unit get a quote from 2 or 3 other people and see if we can reduce the price.
How many places do you think we're gonna, on every item that we buy, we have already gone from cheap to cheap to cheap.
And I'm not suggesting that you change what you're buying. I'm suggesting, I don't know, but I'm suggesting that Safeco is a manufacturer. They're gonna protect their distributors by giving you the flat-out price. Their distributors can then discount it any way they want. As far as I can see, if I'm correct, you've only gone to one distributor. There must be somebody else in this country that sells Safeco files.
The distributor sold it cheaper, $700 cheaper.
And so there's probably got 4 or 5 other distributors somewhere. I can't believe there's only one in the country. I'll do it myself. I'll get on with it for you if you'd like and see if I can find out. Maybe I'm entirely wrong, but I think it's worth a try.
That's what Diana does, though.
How long is it good for?
Well, we asked if it was good after 2013, and we were told there was no guarantee of any of that.
So it's
That
good
was
up
their
until-
price now, yeah.
I'd like to table it for a week, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We'll do that. Go ahead with your budget.
You've got the guide that goes along with it. In the past, just so we can all be on the same page, back in 2007, we set out to do a project that would save the county a huge amount of money in volume covers and shelving, in which we took 900 books, which had 500 pages, and made them all into double-sided books, which saved us from having to purchase shelving and book covers. We recycled everything that we had. It's a very ambitious project.
Is this a decrease in your budget?
It was a decrease for the past, since 2007.
Okay.
We've done it all and reused everything to our max. So
And this
now
comes out of taxpayers'
shelving,
dollars?
yes, shelving and book covers are now back in the budget. So my budget is increased, and I've got that spelled out for you right here, and refreshing everybody up to the same point. Most of the things in here are just our standard every year.
You know, this board has got to figure out how we can better get a closer estimate on what was spent previous years. We've got to talk with Kathy Geary to find out how we can,
Why do you ask that question?
because this is based on September.
Well, the first column, David, I don't know if it means what was appropriated or
It's
what was spent.
What was spent?
All right, so you've got 2011, then 2012, then you've got the column that says the actual amount spent up to
Yep.
September 30th, 2013.
Yep, and then what was
Which gives-
budgeted is the 18,714 last year.
That's the next column, right.
Or for this year, I'm sorry.
No, 7,265.
But when you're doing these, and I don't know how they do it anywhere else, but the amount raised by taxation and the amount that's in our surcharge account, which is the 97 account, is always, that 97 account is always included in the total figure. And you really need to remove it for purposes of talking about what we are, what gets billed to the county. The rest of it comes, the equipment surcharge, which, you know, is $30-something thousand, comes out of that 97 account, and it's always mixed in with the figure. So it really shouldn't
Should be
be
a
part of
separate
my
item.
budget.
Should be a separate item.
I always deduct it, and so if you go to your column, I can give you my handwritten stuff, which I have copies of, but on the second page, you will see what the real figure is to be raised by taxation and that which is not, so, I'll give you one.
You think it would help if we had two items there?
I always separate it, and I try to make that clear somewhere during our meetings. The only thing that seems to change is the price of things, and,
So out of that equipment item, you have $31,395?
well, part of that's all our computers are in there.
No, I
And
mean
their
the
maintenance
surcharge account.
pays that.
Pays for your computers?
Right.
Okay.
Not all our software and hardware, but it does all of our, we've got 12 in the vaults and 7 out in the staff area, plus our plan machines. They maintain them. We make one call if we have an issue, and they're on their way from Exeter, so if they can't fix it remotely.
So under equipment,
Under equipment,
you're
if you go to the
requesting
breakdown,
$37,083.
yep, but that's because the shelving's back in there.
And you've got $31,395 in surcharge.
What are you comparing the numbers to?
Hmm?
What are you comparing the numbers to?
I'm looking at new equipment.
Right, and are you looking at this breakdown on the cover sheet? Because that breaks it down as to exactly what it is yeah, you've got it right there on the last page, Commissioner Sorensen.
I guess the figure I'm trying to look at is on your handwritten sheet,
Right,
surcharge. got
On this-
$31,395. Yeah,
On this sheet,
Right there,
I
on the
deducted the
bottom.
37, that's my total on my breakdown sheet. The total
Yep.
of what's being billed to that is already included up here. So
Yep.
I'm subtracting it out to show you what the actual figure to be raised by taxation is.
yeah, I got you. I
Okay.
think, yeah, yeah. So, what is in your surcharge account right now?
Probably 90.
And that doesn't show up anyplace.
But, now, let me just explain to you. That is a separate account. It's held by the treasurer. We make the deposits into it monthly.
Yep,
The expenses that I have on a monthly basis that are paid out of the business office pay my bills on that, and then at the end of the year, we give them the total amount out of that. So already, we've spent 30 of that 90 is already gone, okay? So, and there'll be more before the end of the year. So that money comes out of there. And that's how that works.
Why do you say you have 90 in the surcharge when the paperwork here says that you have 31?
That's what we've taken in surcharge fees this year.
that's revenue?
That's revenue.
Okay, that's,
Yeah, it's listed as
so
revenue.
now, so is it 90, roughly 90,000 plus 30 we have? I thought you said we had 91.
No, I'm saying we've already spent 30 of that. It just hasn't been transferred from one account to the other.
So what is the figure we have in our surcharge account right now?
I didn't write it up with
90,000?
me. It's, yeah,
Close to
right there,
90,000.
yeah.
Okay. And why, if you extrapolate this, you're gonna spend approximately $33,000 for new equipment this year, based on what we have here. And yet you've asked to appropriate 37,000. Why what else are you gonna get for the additional?
Are you not looking at this?
No, I'm doing what I'm.
Well, this is the
looking at
breakdown that tells you everything that's in that line item. I try to do that to make it a little more efficient, so you don't have to go line by line. You can
You
look
haven't
and
answered my question. The difference is about between what if you extrapolate and you get $33,000, you spent 25, divided by 3 is roughly 8. Make it simple. 8 and 25 to 33,000 is what you should end up spending this year. Yet you've asked for 37,000. What additional funds, where are those additional funds going to be spent? I can see them, I can see shelving here, but that comes under the 37,000. Okay, I'm with you. Unexpected need to replace equipment. The 1850,
Yep.
you don't have, is that an average figure that you figure for stuff to break down?
I don't even think we use it, Commissioner Babson. It's in case something happens, it's just been there. It's not spent if it's not needed.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to
I
put
guess
that,
I'm confused a little bit.
otherwise what has to happen, if anything happens to equipment and
Yeah.
it needs to be repaired,
Yeah,
under the 97 account, I need to come back to the commissioners
And the
first,
delegation.
get approval, and then call a delegation meeting, have another approval.
yeah.
It's just a cushion. It's
I
not
gotcha.
something I've abused.
All of this, I think I'm right, all of this new equipment comes out of the surcharge. $37,082.
Yeah,
Okay.
which includes the rental of all of the
Yep.
computers,
Yep.
our backup people who
Yep.
service those.
It's a similar thing that you talked about with equipment. If it goes into capital,
Right.
we have to go to the delegation. And so what
Historic,
she's doing is putting that in there, in case something breaks down.
Gotcha.
She doesn't have to go to us, because we're already approving it, and the delegation will approve it. It's just sort of sitting there. in case
I think
of
I need to go
emergency.
backwards so I can help Commissioner Babson understand. Back when the whole revolution of technology came into play, and I want to say maybe 1990, the counties themselves were reluctant to fund what was needed to bring you up to today's technology. So there was enacted a statute which allowed the registers to charge $2 per document that went into an equipment fee so that they could have the technology that was necessary. So that can build up to $500,000, because we're not talking counties our size. There's other counties that collect a lot more money than we do. Ours is based on document count. So if I'm recording 16,000 documents in that year, then we take in 32. You know, I mean, it's just the way it works out. But there are good times and there are bad times. So back in the heyday when we were recording more volume, that money grew. Plus interest was really good, and that helped it grow. So we were very prudent in our spending of it. We don't spend it to the max. We try to keep that a cushion so we never have to come back and use any of taxpayer dollars to fund this area. So, last year, there's probably the only year that we spent what we spent, and that was because of the security cameras and the security door. And actually, that came in higher than what we were quoted.
Answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Moving along. What did you put in for a dollar figure for your increase in staff?
Yes,
What
but
did you use?
can I explain the salary line? We had a vacancy.
Yeah.
And we tried filling it. That was back in May, the year before last. I had 2 people in that year that I tried, and I spent a lot of time picking. Without having someone with a legal background, there's a lot of training involved. The first one lasted a day and said she was given misinformation from 2 different HR. So she left, and I got a call a week later from New Hampshire Employment Security that she had put in for unemployment. I said, excuse me. She was here one day, left of her own accord. Please tell me you're not giving her anything from this county.
Yeah.
So she said, anybody can apply. That doesn't mean it's granted. Okay. Then I had another woman that I took, and I thought she had some municipal background, so I thought that would be helpful. We had to let her go before the 3 months were up. She was incredibly slow, was not a go-getter, did not see things that needed to be done around her, which my whole staff is just like robots. They just know where to go. And we could see that that was not improving, and I let her go. So then I tried to see if we could do without that extra person. So obviously, I did not
You had money
spend
left over.
the money in that year. Last year, towards the end of the year, in December, I hired someone else, and I had to, well, she actually left. She had the legal background, but she was a big disappointment with absenteeism. So it's a hard chore to fill a person, to our capability. So I have not had.
This position is a generalist, or are they assigned to a particular job?
Well, there's nothing general about what we do. It's picky work.
Yeah.
You have to learn it, and you have to understand the legal language in your documents. There's only one way to do our jobs, and it's the right way. And, we do our best to work with these people, but, it's a difficult position to fill.
Okay.
So anyway, from
So you had money
February
left over.
on, we decided we had had enough, and we decided to tough it and see if we could get by with 5 employees. Let me tell you the problem that occurs in summer. I have employees that have 18 years, 15 years, or 16 years, and everybody else is on their 13th year. They all get 4 or 5 weeks vacation. And that's where I get left in the hole.
Yeah.
So I've saved you all that money this year. And I haven't hired anybody yet, but I put it back in the budget. It's in the budget as if that person was here, and it's also in medical insurance, that they're getting medical insurance with a spouse, okay?
Yeah.
Because I have to give you some appropriate figure. So my budget, well, what it says what it is, could end up being 50,000 or more, less than that, you know. So, and I've certainly not used it this year. Nobody that I've hired has ever had medical insurance, so I have saved the county immeasurable
All right,
amount of money.
For those people that are presently working, what did you recommend for an increase?
$1.
$1?
Yes.
Okay.
What happens now is we get all our work done, but some of our archival is not moving as quickly as we might, but it's not at any hurt to the county or the people who use our facility.
Okay.
Somebody to come in that's going to stay. It's tough. Yeah, come talk to me.
Do you have any questions on the volume covers and paper?
No. You buy special paper, don't you?
Yeah,
Signing
archival.
the check sheet.
Archival. Has to be acid-free, so forth.
Pardon me?
Has to be acid-free and meet archival standards. When I first came here, we were paying $80 a ream for paper. We now pay $22. When I tell you, I shop till I drop. I mean it. Our book covers, we were paying $95 a piece with the shipping. They were sending us to them one at a time. I order 80 at a time and get them for 78 something, and that includes the shipping. So when I tell you I go to great extremes to save money, it's not a fiction.
Okay, because the postal is going up, that's charged to the individual that the documents are for, right?
Except for what we mail out to the
So
towns.
So it doesn't go in your budget?
No, what we mail out to the towns
And
is
it
required by
shows
law.
up as revenue. That which you get back.
The ones, a lot of our documents come in and they have a self-addressed stamped envelope.
Okay.
Anybody else that records gets charged postage right at the time we record.
Okay.
The people who don't get charged are the towns. We send, by law, we're required to send them copies of all deeds or any other documents they want on a monthly basis. We send them, well, it's not even required monthly. We send them out just about weekly because it is cheaper in postage than sending heavier packages. And the towns can keep up with it in their assessing departments a lot easier if they get them every week, rather than getting a big stack at the end of 3 months, which is what the law requires. So they are not charged.
you figure out what the percent increase is in your budget, by any chance? So you're looking at a $15,000 increase.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you tie in on your Time Warner internet access with the nursing home?
Nope. We've had nothing but grief when we were with everybody else. We get bumped off. Our stuff that we put in all day long gets transmitted down to our computer people. And it happens during the night. And we were having days, in fact, we had some stuff that was missing. It was a tug of war between us and the sheriff's department with the controls and the, so the only answer was that we had our own modem. We cannot afford to be down, ever. That's not a huge expense, really, $80 a month. Yeah, I'd like it if it wasn't on there, sure.
Okay, anybody got any further questions?
Nope.
Yes?
No.
No? No?
Do you have any questions on the revenue side?
You got a paper on a revenue?
If you
side?
remember-
Just that,
Well, if you get it handwritten out, but you've
Yeah.
also got Kathy's fixed it up and made it look real pretty. But
Um,
these figures, if you recall, last
oh,
year,
Yeah.
the delegation wanted, in March, when our last meeting, they wanted me to up my projected income based
Yep.
on last year.
yeah.
And I dug my heels in because I thought last year was an unusual year. And I stuck with my figure, and it looks like my figure is going to bear right on target
Mhm.
unless we have an extraordinary October, November, and December. And when I looked at my figures last year, there was a significant difference in December's income in what went to the county, which is really a telling tale to the total. I took and did the revenue, started with 2013 here, right through this time, and then this is last year. So you can actually see what went to the county's general fund each month
Mhm.
at the end of, and you can see that, right here, I don't really like to keep.
You're pretty firm on what you expect for income this year.
Yeah, and I think we're,
And
Well,
so
I
so
could be
you're up
wrong.
$20,000 from last year, and your expenses is 15,000, so your total budget is down by roughly $5,000. Correct?
that was too fast for me.
Too fast?
I was trying to think of whether.
Well, you're predicting $840,000,
That includes the surcharge.
but it also includes a surcharge and expense too, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so it balances out.
Yep.
So, still, so that's $20,000 extra in revenue that you're predicting. That's the potential that you have.
Those figures are right.
Yeah. And your
Whatever the
budget
percentage comes
is
out.
was up 15,000, so your total budget should be down about $5,000
Probably.
to the taxpayers.
And if I don't completely fill that position and use that model, that's comes out to
But
roughly.
that's a given, you're gonna
I know,
fill that.
that's right.
Okay. Anybody got any further questions? No questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You have to explain that surcharge every year, and I'm sorry
Well,
that we have to go
I
through
almost
that.
wish it wasn't there for that same reason.
Yeah.
And I've asked other counties what they do, but I've looked at some of their budgets and their, the, what do you call those? They come out every year. And I've looked through a couple of the other counties and it's all put in one. And it just kind of, because when they set the budget down in Concord, it's what's to be raised by taxation. And having that figure in has always been a baffle for me.
But then it shows up as a revenue, so it balances out.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. All right, where are we here?
David, by the time, excuse me, Commissioner Babson,
Yes, ma'am.
I will put Diana on it. I think she got other prices. We just came up with the two lowest ones to bring up
Okay.
here, so I will double check with her so we don't waste anybody's time.
Thank you.
Okay?
As Gene Chandler mentioned on Monday, that if they speed up the approval of the budget, there may be departments that they may not look at. The medical referee is one that I would think that they wouldn't even bother with, because it stays the same every year.
But it's expensive.
$14,000.
We pay $25 every time they call the office.
What do you mean?
Every time they call down there and ask a question, they get charged $25.
Okay.
You know, they call up to make a report, it's $25.
Okay, we're running a little ahead.
Can you
Yes,
see if,
yes, please.
David, can I see your folder for the Safeco thing she's after?
Asher, you have non-public minutes for 2013, right?
I
You got that one?
You wanted a conference call?
Um,
You wanted a conference call that I have for 2013?
No?
Yeah, you said it last
A
week.
conference call for what reason?
You said there were two calls that you wanted minutes for one call. It was about the employee. So I got that one.
The only conference call that may come in is from Hale's location.
No, the meeting that consisted of a conference call.
Oh, I got
The
you.
February meeting,
Okay.
the meeting was on the conference call.
So what were you talking about? You're talking about what, Hill's location?
Yeah, we've got,
Oh, I thought that you were asking about non-public minutes.
we've got a conference call regarding that stuff, dealing with the schools in Hale's location.
So conference call, okay.
We want an explanation of what all that stuff means. It's late, and
So how late is the conference call coming in?
it'll come in under work sessions. Kathy Geary was going to set it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Morning.
Morning.
Got some information.
How are you?
Okay.
Good.
You got anything you want to talk about regarding the medical referee budget?
I don't. It's such a difficult thing to get you just don't know what the expenses are ever going to be. I would suggest we just keep it at what it was and see what happens.
I assume you're recommending that it stay the same?
Yes.
Okay.
I had the breakdown of the services. The investigative services cost $140. Phone consults are $25. Pronouncements are $50. And those happen when a doctor won't sign off on the death and they have to pronounce. And the mileage is the federal rate, so.
Trying to find you. There we go. Okay. start with the attorney's budget.
In terms of salaries for everyone, I'm not asking for any increases, but I would ask you to consider if you give other county employees a cost of living raise, that they be included in that
Okay.
formula.
All right, so there's no, make a note of that, there's no increase in salaries for the, at this
For
time.
the assistants,
Right.
attorneys?
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
And there's, okay,
Other things, you know, unfortunately have gone up. We've got a little bit of an increase. We look down, most of the costs are fixed.
yeah.
But we get down to line 36 on office supplies.
How about other fees and services?
Other
Any-
fees and services.
Education, well, let's back up to education conferences. Is that figure right, $490 spent so far?
Right, but I've got,
Some coming up?
yep, I've got an attorney going out to San Francisco for a forensic evidence class put on by the National District Attorneys Association. So we have to cover travel and hotel rate.
They cover registration?
We got a scholarship for him for pay the tuition of the course, which was $600, so I felt pretty good about that. So that'll take up most, and I'd like to be able to give him some money to go so we can eat, because they're not providing any food or anything anymore. The federal government has shut that down. So whenever we go to a conference, they're very clear to say we are not providing food or even water. So,
No water?
Okay.
Not
you know,
even tap
bottled
water?
Yeah, right, tap water, I would assume if there's a faucet around, but right.
Okay.
And we've been, I mean, with the cutbacks, even in the state, we've gone from one conference a year, from 2 conferences a year through the Attorney General's office to only 1. So that's why that cost has been decreased.
And other fees and services, is there going to be more expenses to the end of the year?
I
You got
don't,
$1,600 so far.
yeah. I don't know that. Let's look and see what that covers. We have online subscriptions for research, so that'll be bumped up a little bit more. That's through West and,
Through the end of the year.
right. Yeah. We've done well with our postage. Every year that seems to go down, which is interesting, given that
Back.
postage goes up.
Back up to office supplies.
Oh, okay,
You're looking for another couple $100.
right, right.
Particular reason?
The cost of even getting the heavy-duty file boxes has increased, and the file folders has increased. Betsy does a real good job of shopping around and keeping a tight watch on that. If she tracks her supplies, we try and buy, if we have anything left over at the end of the year, we try and buy stuff so it doesn't come out of the next budget too. So she's very careful about watching that.
Are there any purchasing being done with all the counties for that particular item?
You mean all the
For
departments?
example?
All the departments?
Yeah,
I
in other county departments, in the county attorney's office?
don't
I
think.
mean, is there a savings that could be made if the New Hampshire Association of Counties put together a purchasing?
I would imagine
type
that,
thing?
sure, I would think so. I think that Betsy has worked with Kathy Gary or somebody in the business office in the past maybe Kathy Armstrong, actually,
Yeah,
to see about best prices, but I don't think we've pooled. It'd be nice to be able to
Yeah.
get bulk buying
Yeah.
like that,
yeah.
like with the nursing home and the jail, but.
Go ahead.
Attorney Gordon, have your people done any, made any attempt to work with a nursing home? I signed checks for Staples, Union Office products, Office Max. There's 5 of them that we buy stuff from.
Yeah, I think we
And,
just use
and
Staples.
Nora does the buying at the nursing home, and I'm not sure that Betsy might even get a better price. Have you, we get a county discount from Staples. Do we take advantage of it?
Oh, I'm sure we do. We do. In fact, she gets little coupons that she hoards and uses, to buy office supplies. But yeah, I'll tell her to reach out to, is it Nora over there?
Yeah, why don't you have
Yeah,
Nora and Betsy get together? Maybe
yeah,
Betsy gets a better buy.
Right.
We should be working in that direction.
yeah, I'm in favor of that. If there's anybody, is there gonna be somebody that can do it countywide? Can we, is there a,
We're
no,
looking at
I know, a
something.
purchasing department essentially, but
But
yeah.
Nora's doing the buying
Yeah.
now and for the nursing home. And she spends almost the whole day doing it, so combining a few reams of paper with what she's already buying isn't gonna hurt.
Right, that's good. I'll do that.
There's nothing special about your office. Brian.
No, no,
And then dues, license, and subscriptions, the same?
yep, yes, it is.
And, okay, you were talking about postage.
Yeah,
Even though postage is going up,
I know.
you're going down?
It's true. We do a lot of handoff. We try not to mail anything, so we have discovery, we try and bring it with us to court, hand it off to the defense attorneys.
It's becoming so paperless too. Like where we used to have to send discovery of 400 pages would cost a lot. Now they put it on a disk.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we get the same thing from the departments coming in, so.
And telephone?
Surprisingly, apparently, I asked Betsy about that, and she said that, we get our figures from the business office, we get the breakdown, and our costs have gone down.
Okay.
Travel, I'm asking for more.
Mhm.
We seem to be traveling a lot more. We just are. Unfortunately, last week I was up in Conway every single day. And I don't, if I'm going there, I charge from where I live to Conway and back to where I live. I don't do a round trip from Ossipee.
Okay.
So,
And photocopy expenses down,
yes,
goes to 300.
yep. So the new equipment line, we have a black and white laser printer that has been there since I think I started. It's starting to limp around a little bit. Betsy has asked around, trying to get a price for one that's probably hopefully around $800 or $900, but we haven't had much luck with that yet. The other thing was to get the heavy-duty filing boxes to put under there. So the biggest hit is clearly the IT. I'm asking for that $3,500 for that extension of our internet over to the courthouse. And we just got a letter in from our data management that the maintenance fees, it's that carpel that was statewide that all of the county attorneys were able to get through the grant from the AG's office.
Yeah.
They didn't charge us any maintenance fee for the first year, and now
Now they are.
Now they're gonna. And I don't think that increase is included in this, because we just got the letter.
Did you put that in under?
New IT,
Under new equipment?
IT,
Maintenance under IT?
yeah.
Okay.
So we figured that the overall increase was 2.29%.
Say that again?
2.29% increase. overall.
2.29?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for keeping it down that low.
Trying. We like being cheap.
That's without salary increases.
That's correct.
And you have, you didn't put anything in for your assistant and county attorneys.
Right, it's gonna stay the same.
Stay the same?
This- Yep,
Because they're new?
right.